Really important question here. If I have a low GPA, can I still get into a top business school if I study really hard for the GMAT? The short answer is yes, and that's part of the reason the GMAT is so important. It can absolutely help you overcome a deficit in another area of your application. Maybe you had to work a job because your family went through some trials and tribulations when you were an undergrad, and that affected your ability to get great grades. Maybe you were dealing with some mental health issues when you were an undergrad, and that really prevented you from excelling in the classroom the way that you wanted to. Obviously, those are terrible situations. What would be even more terrible is if you couldn't make up for that in any other part of your application, and your ability to go to a top business school was just over because of that past. Great news, that's not true. If you study hard for the GMAT and you do this prep process right, you can absolutely overcome a low undergraduate GPA or just kind of a strange industry that's not a typical admit to a top business school. Here's some advice to make this path more realistic for you. Number one, give yourself plenty of time to grow your GMAT score to the highest possible level. You're not just shooting to meet the average at the schools that you're applying to. You want to have a score that's above the average to offset the fact that your grades or your previous academic performance is below the average of who you're competing with. Higher scores are absolutely attainable, absolutely possible, but it will take more time than average. You should plan to invest that. Number two, set aside as many financial resources as you possibly can to invest in this process. The higher quality help you have, the better and faster results you're going to get. Don't think about it as a cost. Think about as an investment. You're probably going to be dropping $100,000 to $200,000 on business school if you want to go to a top program. Think about investing $1,000 to $10,000 in your GMAT prep to make that $100,000 to $200,000 investment pay off sometimes 2 to 3 times as much as you would if you got into a lower tiered school. I know those numbers are a little crazy, but if you look at the ROI, which is generally millions of dollars across the course of your career, you'll realize there's very few other investments where you can put that capital and get a similar return. I went through the same thing. I was very afraid to invest. Thank goodness I did. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Number three, if you need some advice about which types of resources to use, whether you should study with books or which classes are the best, or whether you should get a private tutor, check out the first 2 episodes of our podcast. The very first one is called How to Start Your GMAT Studies, and the second one is called How Long Will It Take and Can I Accelerate My Progress? You should listen to both, take the advice, listen to the data collection that we've painstakingly gathered over many, many years at this point, and shoot us a DM if you still have questions after listening to that material. Last resource I can give for you to optimize your success is go to clearadmit.com and check out the Clear Admit MBA Admissions podcast. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I get 0 referral fees, 0 kickback. I'm just sharing this out of the goodness of my heart because I think they do great work. You can submit your exact profile on their website, and you can have a chance that they'll review your profile on the podcast and give you specific tailored advice for free based on your current situation. This is a great resource for you if you have a non-traditional background, you're worried about a weakness in your application and how you can compensate for that, and you want advice from people who are previous top-tier school admissions directors. If you're still stuck after all of that, reach out to us anytime. We'll do everything we can to support you. Believe in yourself, stay positive, and stay consistent.